Hi everyone, I know you all are done with the preparation. Now it becomes very important to tell you that how to attempt the paper on 21st November. So here I am with the three most important things which I want to cover in this video is the number one is that how many questions to attempt. Second is time management during exam, and the third one is how to avoid the negative marking. So let's proceed further with the first out, that how many questions to attempt. As we all know that in the paper we have total of 240 questions. Out of that, in the today's scenario, as you all know that the cutoff are increasing daily, day by day. So expect for the general category that you have to make 180 questions correct out of 240 to get a desired CADRE which you all want in this. So 174 is also there is a chance, but to be on the safe side I would suggest you to make 180 questions correct. Okay, so out of 240 you have to make 180 questions correct. Now the paper is divided into two parts, paper 1 and 2. So how many questions to attempt? Out of 120 you have to attempt at least 110 questions. In both session 110 and 110. You can leave max to max only 10 questions in each part, because you can expect your negative to be go around the 40 questions. So no matter how intelligent you are, you cannot make your all questions correct. You have to take minimum of 40 questions negative you are going to make. So it's better you attempt more questions to be in the safe zone. So moral of the story out of this is that out of the 240 questions you have to make 180 correct. For that you have to try to attempt more than 220 questions. That means 110 questions more in each paper. So you cannot attempt less than 110 question each session. It's good if you attempt 115 or 118, but do not attempt less than 110 in each session. Now the next most important thing is that time management during exam. How to attempt the questions. As we all know that the paper is offline this time, so time management becomes very important, because if you choose the answer also you cannot directly mark. You have to fill that option in the OMR sheet, so it is going to consume your extra time. Now we have the paper 1 and 2, 2-hour session, that means 2 hours, 120 minutes, 120 question. That means for each question you have 1 minute. As we all know that we are going to have three type of questions in the paper. Single answer, that means one liner type. Case scenario in which a 4 to 5 line history is going to be there, and you have to make a diagnosis what disease what that case scenario or history goes to a particular diagnosis. You have to find that particular diagnosis in that question. And the next question are going to be of the statement types. You are going to have 2 to 3 or 4 statements, then you have to choose 1 to 4 correct, 1, 3, 4, these type of. So 95 questions are going to be of the one liner type, 15 questions are going to be case scenario type, and 10 questions you are going to have this statement. So try to attempt single answer and case scenario first, and leave the statement type questions for the last of the exam. So do it in the last. Now on what basis you are going to divide your time is, when you start your paper, starting 70 minutes, you are going to dedicate those 70 minutes to the 110 questions, in which one-liners and case scenarios are going to be covered. After that 15 minutes you are going to dedicate to the statement type of questions, and you are going to be left with the 30 to 35 minutes. You have to attempt left questions in that. What do I mean by left question is, all the questions which are time consuming, you are not going to attempt them in the initial 70 minutes. You are going to leave time for that in the last. So you are going to attempt the numerical, long history, or suppose you read the question and you are unable to get the answer in the first go. So do not try to attempt those questions in that go only. Leave it for the last 30 to 35 minutes. Move forward, attempt the rest questions, and again come back to that question in the last and see whether you get that answer in that time. Now the most important thing in the last is that how to avoid the negative marking. No one can make all the questions correct. You can just do from your side that you can reduce the negative marking. In how you are going to do that? Number one is, when you are going to read these single answer type questions, you are going to have these 4 most common words in each and every question. All the 95 questions are going to revolve around these 4 words. So do not skip this word from the question. That is, they are going to give a question and in the last they are going to add the word not, or they are going to accept, or the most appropriate, likely, or the next step in the management. All the 95 questions are going to revolve around it. So read the not, accept, most appropriate, next step. So you are going to probably make your question right, but if you skip this word, then you know what will happen. Next is silly but the most important thing. It is going to be the game changer this time in this session, that fill the answer in the OMR sheet correctly. As everybody has the practice of computer based exam, no one has practiced in the OMR sheet. We have attempted the OMR sheet in our PMT time and we haven't touched it since 6-7 years. So what happened this time is, you know the answer, but when you are trying to fill the OMR sheet, by mistake you can fill that option in the wrong answer. Like 95 you want to mark B, but instead of 95 you marked it in the 96. So this time negative marking is going to be there on the basis of OMR sheet also. So please attempt the OMR, mark the answers in the OMR sheet correctly. Next is don't change your answer. When we read the question, we get an instinct that this can be the answer and we found it in the option 2, but we tend to change our answer by looking on the other options. So if you get the answer by reading the questions and if you find it in the options, please mark it and switch to the next question. Don't change your answer after marking the answer, because it would probably because it is going to provide you a negative marking. If you have marked the answer in the first go, then it is the high probability that that is the correct answer. So don't change your answer after marking it. Next is read all the options. What happens is the examiner puts the bias option in the first go, and when we read the question we think that the first option is the correct and we skip the rest 3 options, but the answer was lying in the third or fourth option. So you know the question, but please read all the options once. I hope I have answered your one query, that how to attempt the questions. Now my next part are coming, in which I would be discussing what are the guidelines and things you should carry on the exam, and the next thing is going to be that how to fill the OMR sheet correctly, or what strategy you should follow while filling the OMR sheet. With the answers you should directly fill the answers, or after finishing you should mark